What's going on, guys? This is MartyrsBrigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls PvP. Alright guys, we're back at it for another volume of the Battle of the Uploader series. And before I get started, I'd like to offer a thanks and show of appreciation to good old PhaerusDKS. He is one of the newer upcoming uploaders, and actually I think he has an awesome channel, mainly because he dedicates it to commentaries. Right, he talks about a wide variety of subjects, add a little humor in there, and I'm pretty sure if you guys like lengthy commentaries, lengthy meaning, I would say somewhere at least 15 minutes, then I'm pretty sure you will enjoy his content. Now, actually, I did not think he was going to land that parry because he was kind of offset, and, you know, I don't know. Either way it goes, that was a good parry right there. I thought he was going to miss it, but he got it. So that's a GG right there. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to see a different, a different perspective to this series, go ahead and check out his channel. Right, he added his own commentary to it. In addition to, you can see how I look from his perspective. And actually, I like it whenever I feature someone that has also recorded, right? Because it's one thing to watch things from my own perspective, is another thing to watch how my opponent view things from their perspective, right? So I think that's definitely a good thing. Alright, so GG right there. So the first two matches he's basically tightened me up. He got two good parries. So now that I'm kind of noticing some things about his game style, you know, his gameplay style, it's kind of time for me to change things up a bit. Right, and actually I love when I'm playing good players because it really causes for me to challenge myself. Right, and challenging yourself is a good thing. Because, you know, I'm not trying to be funny. You know, nor am I trying to play people's game style down. But, you know, sometimes when I lose to a certain tactic, I kind of don't feel bad, right? I mean, I don't really feel anything. Case in point, let's just say, you know, I played against a person and he BS'd me 3 times. I don't really think anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just kind of like, oh well, it's a loss. However, when I'm playing against someone who's using a wide variety of tactics, they're pretty much diverse with regard to their own play style, that's definitely something that you can respect. And this is why I like playing guys like, you know, PhaerusDKS, Elite, Mr. I Won't Forget, Mocking Hawk. I mean, there's a Bruno. Definitely shout out to Bruno Skate out there. As a matter of fact, that guy's gameplay has evolved so much from when we first started playing. I mean, it's crazy. I might have to feature that guy on another video because, as a matter of fact, if you guys are not familiar with Bruno Skate, we did a Battle of the Build series wherein he used the gargoyle. Well, actually, he role-played as a gargoyle, right? Using all the gargoyle weapons and using the gargoyle armor setup. Well, since then, I mean, that guy's just absolutely crazy with that great axe. This guy beat me down so many times with the great axe, it was ridiculous. And I thought it was wonderful because, I mean, how many people do you really see using a great axe? And, you know, to the extent that you do see the great axe, usually they're just shooting in for a BS. Well, Bruno Skate definitely is not shooting in for BS's, right? And he does an awesome job with that great axe. So, I don't know, one of these days I might try to get him back in here for another Battle of the Build series, but featuring his great axe build. Right, but back to what I was saying. The reason why I really like playing guys like this is because you can really respect their gameplay style, right? He's not trying hard, you know. He's not, you know, coming at me with, you know, the Hornet Ring, Dark Moon Blade, BSing me time and time and time again, going for nothing other than roll BS's. This guy is just simply using diversity with regard to weapon selection, with regard to attack strategies, with regard to everything. And when you face a player like this, like I said before, it's really a play style that I could definitely respect. You know, because sometimes you really need to run into what I would consider some of the more experienced players, because being in the Berg sometimes, Right, and this is not to say anything about people in the Berg, but when you've been playing as long as me, I mean, there's just certain play styles you just simply don't want to play against. Right, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, someone who's basically just DMB3 on a great site. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, it's valid, it's good to go, but I just simply don't want to play against, like, that type of build. Or someone who does nothing but roll BS me every single time I swing. Even if I lose to a guy like that, it's just like, okay, I mean, I lost, but whatever. I mean, it was really nothing special about that, right? But if you guys notice, he's using kind of everything. Whips, Flambergs, Murakumos, the whole nine. Right, he's pretty much diverse. I have to stay on my toes. I have to watch, pick and choose when I attack, when I engage, when I disengage. This guy's kind of everywhere. Right, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this footage and will go ahead and support his channel. Because like I said in the past, I like to promote as many good contributors as I can to the community. As many as I can. Right, may it be Rosie with her trolling videos, Sunlight Blade with his random commentaries and other things that he featured. May it be Mr. I Won't Forget with his weapon showcases and other things that he talks about in his commentaries, to everyone else that I have featured, and in addition to the ones who I have not been able to feature up to this point. For which, like I said before, and actually speaking of good PvPers, before I am finally done with Dark Souls, basically start my hiatus before Dark Souls 2, there's a player out there that I definitely have to get. And actually, for whatever reason, I've never been able to catch him, not because he hasn't been there, but our times are just off, right? Maybe I'm busy, maybe he's not, or the times are just inconvenient. Alright, so I'm going to have to get Spades in here before I finally retire from Dark Souls. Because he is definitely, and a lot of people already know about Spades, but he is definitely a guy whose skill, basically, you can't even say anything about it. I mean, that guy's just awesome, right? And as a matter of fact, that guy's so good, I think it would be interesting to see a good series between Spades and Elite, right? Because, I mean, Elite is great as far as a player, Spades is great as far as a player, and I mean, I think that would definitely be a good feature. So, I mean, hint, hint. Maybe one day you two guys can get a good series for yourself. I think that would be an awesome show for everyone to see. Right, so I'm definitely going to have to get Spades in here for the Battle of the Uploaders. Probably next week. Hopefully I can get it next week, right? Because I'm pretty much done for this week's uploads. Alright, so, like I said before, this guy is kind of everywhere, so I really have to be on my toes. He's got Claymores, Flambergs, I mean, the whole nine. Alright, so he's trying to pick me off with the arrows, and actually, I almost circled around him for the BS because a lot of guys try to do that bait and switch all the time, right? So I basically hit him with a BS to let them know that bait and switch will not work on me. Right? It used to work on me in the past, but it no longer works because I know that a lot of people do it. And if you're not familiar with the bait and switch, it's just a situation wherein you're popping off with the bow, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you notice somebody coming in, you just, switch to the to your shield and you parry. All right, so it's really nothing special about that, but it's really easy to get caught up with it. Alright, so I'm throwing out my pike real quick. And look like he's got the gargoyle tail axe along with the halberd, which is a great combination because it's kind of easy to throw people off. And he just beat me to a pulp with that hand axe. Alright. Come on, dude. Oh, okay, now he switched off, so I really have to be careful because not only does he have the basic R1 attack, but he also has the spinning two-hit combination that comes with the R2 attack, or the strong attack. And one thing about that, especially if you're rocking lower poise and you're kind of practicing on your toggle escapes, one thing that you guys need to keep in mind is if you get hit with the two-handed halberd hit, halberd meaning that right there, you need to toggle on the second hit. Don't toggle the first. If you try to toggle the first, you're going to get stunned. Because remember, it does a 2-hit combination. The first one is not strong enough to break your poise. The second one is. So if you ever get caught in that spinning, two-handed, strong attack with, the scythe, the halberd, or the gargoyle halberd, don't try to toggle the first hit. Toggle immediately after the second, and you will be able to escape it. Alright. So I got lucky right there. Got him with a nice hit. GG. And we're back at it. Now, one of these matches, this guy completely demolishes me with a hammer. And one thing that I can say about that hammer is it's kind of hard to deal with when you're rocking less than 53 poise. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to get the timing on that hammer. Because there's a few guys that have basically beaten me to a pulp with those hammers. See, case in point. That guy just rocked the crap out of me with that gargoyle tail axe. GG. Alright, so we're back at it. It looks like he's using more gargoyle weapons, but this time he is going to use the gargoyle halberd. Now, from my own experience, that gargoyle halberd kind of sucks unless you're using a 40-40 quality build. Now, if you're using a 40-40 quality build, that thing demolishes. Not only on your basic R1 and R2 hits, but also with your critical attacks. That thing definitely demolishes. Because, on the 2740 or even on the 1640, I mean, the damage is, meh. But I'm telling you, if you guys have a 40-40 build, try that gargoyle halberd. That thing inflicts tons of damage. Alright, if you guys notice, I was able to hit him with that two-handed R2 attack, and if he was able to toggle out of the second, he would have escaped the stun lock. Alright, so he's trying to pick me off with a few poison arrows. Got the nice roll BS right there. Alright, so I think he's probably going to switch off weapons here in a sec. Oh! Got me with that wide arc from the gargoyle halberd. GG right there. And another good thing about fighting players like good old Phaerus, and actually, like I said before, I never count. It's not about counting. It's not about egos. It's just basically having fun, with other people, other contributors to the community. But sometimes when I'm playing guys like this, I'm thinking I'm getting absolutely demolished. Right? I would be thinking to myself like, man, I couldn't get a break. That guy destroyed me during the whole time. But after I take the footage and I edit it to get ready for rendering and uploading, and I count, I'm like, well, actually, we're pretty much even. Right? And I bring that up to say that, sometimes somebody can put so much pressure on you that you just basically feel like you're always on the defense. Now, granted, in some of these matches, I felt like I was always on the defense, whereas in others, I felt like I was more in control. Right? And I think that's just another testament to how good a lot of these players are. Alright, so it looks like he's rocking the Gravelord sword, which those R2s can definitely be dangerous. Shout out to Mocking Hawk. That guy kind of stuns me with those two-handed R2s all the time. Doing just like right there. And you know what? I think that Gravelord sword is cool, but I mean, I think it kind of lacks. Right? I mean, I think it's good with the stun potential. But the thing that I don't like, I think the bleed, well, not the bleed, but I think the toxic buildup is too slow. Right? I really think it's too slow because in order for you to really, toxic someone, you need to hit them with that Gravelord sword like 5 or 6 times. And I think for it to be a covenant item, it should probably build as fast as, let's just say, the Life Hunt Scythe. Right? Because Life Hunt Scythe, although it also inflicts the player, I mean, that thing accumulates bleed pretty quickly. Right? So hopefully with Dark Souls 2, they'll kind of buff some of these Covenant and boss weapons. Alright, so it looks like he's rocking the Man Serpent Greatsword. Ooh, that timing definitely threw me off. Alright. Oh, man, that timing. I mean, one good thing about that one-handed R2 is, how many people do you really see use that one-handed R2 on that particular weapon? Usually you just see them doing that circular two-handed R2 attack, and actually he was able to beat me down with the Falcon. GG right there. But it's almost similar to the Bastard Sword. I mean, you usually really don't see that many people using the Bastard Sword, although it is stronger than a Claymore. And I think because a lot of people just really prefer those pokes. Right, those one-handed and rolling two-handed R1 pokes that comes with the Claymore, as opposed to the Bastard Sword. And in addition to that, the Bastard Sword is shorter than the Claymore. So, granted, it is stronger, but I think the fact that the Claymore is longer just makes it the preferred weapon over the Bastard Sword. So he was able to take advantage of that missed hit right there. Beat down with the hammer. GG. Alright, so like I said before, I like to offer my thanks and show of appreciation to good old Phaerus. I hope you guys will check out and support his channel. Like I said before, if you guys enjoy commentaries, he definitely adds good material to the community. Right, and like I said before, he hasn't been adding commentaries for that long, but they are lengthy. Like I said before, they're at least 15 minutes, anywhere from 15 to, I think somewhere like 15 to 20 to 25 minutes. So they're pretty good. And he talks about a wide variety of things. Not just things related to Dark Souls, but he also talk about life lessons, right? Like I remember the last video I watched, he was talking about, he was just basically talking about, him at one point being an EMT, and some of the experiences he's seen, and why he can't watch certain movies. I think it was horror movies or something related. I think he was saying something like, well, I mean, after you see something like that, who just want to see it? I can't really remember. But the whole time, I was just basically sitting there like, man, this commentary is pretty cool. So, if I'm enjoying it, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will also enjoy it. So please go ahead and check out his channel. I'll ensure to put a link to his channel in the description box if you don't already know it, right? If you're not already subscribed to his channel. Alright, so this is an interesting exchange right there. We're just kind of in each other's face. R1 and R2 in each other to death. And actually, I got lucky right there because it looked like he should have hit me with that two-handed R2 from that S-Stock. But luckily, I was kind of offset from his position. Alright, so we're back at it once again. Looks like he will be rocking the large club again. And a lot of people, they like that great club, but personally, I prefer the large club over the great club. Right, I just really like that move set from the one-handed R2. And in addition to that, the large club inflicts poison. Alright, so if you buff the large club with a rotten resin, I mean, you can kind of poison somebody after like one or two hits. You can definitely poison them with a backstab, but after like one or two hits with that thing, you're pretty much done with. Alright, GG right there. Alright, so what I'm thinking about doing one of these days is probably a Q&A right, with my subs, wherein I just basically dedicate a video to answering questions, right? Answering questions. And actually, I think what I'll do is I'll take some of the questions that I think are the most interesting, and I'll basically just, do a series of matches and address those questions. So I'm thinking about doing that. I don't know. I kind of really need to think about what I'm going to do for these last few videos. And the hard thing about that is, as much as I like the game and I have my own experiences and I would like to share them, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, right? So granted, I don't necessarily want to stop at 200, right? Because, I can have my mind set on something and then I'll get to playing something, or I'll get a different perspective, or I'll get a new experience, and I basically want to share it with everybody, right? But like I said before, I mean, this game is, I can't say so old, but it's been out for so long and I've been playing it for so long, I really think I just need a break. So I don't know. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm actually going to stop at 200 or if I'm just basically going to do something else. I don't really know, because this game is 100% awesome. Right? This game, despite the complaints that people may have, despite the lag, despite the hackers, and luckily I don't have to experience it that much on the PS3. As a matter of fact, I ran into my first hacker the other day. But despite all those things, this game is 100% awesome, and I am definitely looking forward to Dark Souls 2. Well, alright. This is just about it. I think I done did a long enough rant. So, like I said, thanks again, PhaerusDKS. I hope you guys go ahead, check out, and support his channel. So, until next time, Martyrs Brigade is